GF, 31F. Hid HPV from me, 32M. It's fine in men. Me and my, now ex-girlfriend know each other for 5 months and the relationship has been great so far, lots of laughs, etc. However, she never spoke much of the past and wanted to know a lot from mine, which is kinda a red flag to me, but that's okay, 30-plus-year-olds always have some kind of baggage. She pressed me a lot to do STI exams so that we can start dropping condoms, so we did. Everything apparently fine and we had unprotected sex one time. Afterwards, she tells me that she's battling HPV, she did an exam 1 year ago, non-cancerous type, she had the vaccine and she was waiting for a new exam to check if it's gone or not. I confronted her, like why the heck would you have unprotected sex if you know you have that condition? She argued a lot of bullshit like in men it's a lot softer. I have probably had it in the past. Her past should not worry me that much, I should be grateful because she always was sincere with me. I broke up with her of course. Not because the disease it's XYZ but because that would haunt me my whole life. She's not a trustworthy person. Any advice? I don't think anyone has the right to tell you how to feel about this. If I had any kind of transferable disease I would disclose for my own conscience sake so my partner makes an informed decision. She actively coerced him into having unprotected sex. Yay, it's not AIDS but everyone has their own feelings on the issue. It's mad that people have the audacity to call this manufactured drama. Good riddance to bad rubbish wastebasket. A condom isn't going to protect you from HPV. If you've had sex then the chances are you've been exposed to it. Something like 98% of the sexually active population has HPV. In Canada you don't even have to tell your partner and half the time the doctor doesn't even tell you. You likely already had it yourself. Actually, go to the doctor and get more information. I am afraid I am not well versed on HPV. However, from a relation standpoint, you did exactly the right thing. You can't trust her and then to act like she's really sincere is hilarious. So good for you. Good self-esteem, you did the right thing. General consensus of doctors online is that HPV doesn't need to be disclosed. Almost all sexually active people have it. Condoms don't protect against it and it can even spread by non-sexual contact. I get that you are upset that she didn't disclose it to you, but as a woman, you often even literally get told that you don't need to disclose this info to a sexual partner. My 25 female boyfriend, 25 male, went on a vacation with another girl without telling me. It was last month. He said he was stressed out at work and needed time off. He hadn't taken any time off in 7 years, he said, so I felt for him and said he could go. We've been together for 3 years and yes, he's never taken time off work. I couldn't go however as I have a demanding schedule, so he went alone. He actually said he'd prefer to go alone because he wanted to backpack and such. After he's come back, he surprised me by revealing he had a female friend with him, whom I never heard about. I was obviously baffled, more so cuz he seemed very chill about it. He was tagged in her IG posts. I felt curious enough to have a peek, and my surprise got to another level. That girl does porn on her of account. The photos also made me quite uncomfortable, she was almost fully naked there, which I even don't know how or why since they were in a freezing place. I asked him why on earth he didn't tell me. His excuse is that, I didn't ask, not to shame the girl or anything, but I wouldn't approve if I was asked. I don't know how TF he could let something like that happen and then act super nonchalant about it. He's even guilt-tripping me, calling me crazy and a prude. He crossed this line and is not allowing me to question it. I don't want to suggest that something happened. But again, I just feel betrayed. My trust is now ruined. He cheated and is gaslighting you. That term is way overused but one suddenly decides to go on a trip which is unusual for him. 2 says it's solo. 3 clearly had a previous communication with this woman. 4 doesn't tell you until after he gets back. 5 calls you crazy for asking questions when there is clear proof of his lies. My read. His online mistress suggested a trip and he went. He doesn't care about your relationship and will lie freely and frequently to manipulate you. If you stay he will assume he can get away with it in the future. Yep. Your relationship is over. There is no trusting this guy, and his reaction to this is telling. He's selfish, and he does not care about your feelings. Surely, there were signs of what kind of person he is before now. He actually said he'd prefer to go alone because he wanted to backpack and such. I asked him why on earth he didn't tell me. His excuse is that, I didn't ask. There are people out there who will do the most outrageous things, lie in a crazy way, and count on your mind being too boggled to wrap your head around the absurdity of it. Don't let him do that. He planned a trip with another woman, lied to you about it, not by omission, and is acting like it's all NBD in hopes that you'll accept it. Is your BF's name George Costanza? Get an STD test done stat. He lied to you, which is bad enough, but did so without remorse, and now is even calling you crazy. Bold as brass. It doesn't matter whether something happened with that girl. It's the lying that should get his ass dumped. Do all the legwork first if you need to divest finances or disentangle yourself from him materially. He sounds like the kind of guy who will secretly run up a credit card that's in your name and leave you hanging. Get a blood test, too, BTW. I, 29 female, referred my boyfriend, 33 male, for a role at my firm. Should I split the referral fee? I referred my boyfriend for a role at my company. He got the role and I'll get $2,200 in a few months as a referral bonus. Would you split this with your significant other or give them a part of it? Edit. He is taking me out to dinner as he's extremely appreciative. He has never mentioned the referral fee nor would he ever. I am going to use a small portion of it on something nice for both of us to do because I want to. Thanks for all the feedback. Generally speaking, referral bonuses go to the person who did the referral, and signing bonuses go to the person who signed on. Only if it was a deal made between the two as part of the referral. Hey, if you sign up here they'll give me a bonus of $2.2K. I'll split it with you, would you split it? Didn't make the deal first, then it's all yours. Now, that's for someone you're not in a relationship with. Whether you split the money with a significant other would depend on how else you handle finances, income, and windfall. Since your significant other is helping to cause it to happen, it would make sense to split, if they ask for it. I wouldn't see a reason to hold back in that case. Not only should he not get a cut of the referral bonus but he should be taking you out to a nice dinner for helping him get the job. No? If this was anyone else would you split it with them? No TF. Would you with a friend? Probably not, but depends on the seriousness of the relationship. If you don't need it for other things, it'd be sweet of you to put it towards something joint, a vacation, a romantic weekend somewhere, or if you live together, something you've both been wanting, new mattress, nicer couch, etc. But you definitely shouldn't feel obligated to sharing it. And definitely don't if you have an actual need for the money, paying bills, paying debts, building an emergency fund, etc. My fiance, 27F, wants her name on my 36M rental properties. My fiance, 27F, and I, 36M, recently got engaged, 2 years of dating, and we're having issues because she thinks I'm selfish with money. I have 2 rental properties that I owned before the engagement that I spent the last 9 years building up to for retirement. My fiance, who is a doctor, wants her name on both of them because we are getting married and everything should be jointly owned. However, we've had issues and I just have this irrational fear that she might leave me after putting her name on it, which stems from us keep breaking up and getting back together. Usually within the same day or one day at max, but early on in our relationship she did say it a lot. I told her that I'll put her name on one property after marriage and second after 5 years. She said should be done after we have a child. I was initially hesitant but eventually gave up and said I'll put one after marriage and the second property after our second child, but she still thinks I'm selfish for not sharing and have nothing to show for my past 9 years of working going into this marriage when she will be the breadwinner. I still don't understand why my 9 years of working before her matters, but it does to her. She wants me to be generous so she doesn't have to feel stingy later during the marriage. I keep telling her just give me a little bit of time so I don't have to feel like she's going to leave me, but she says no. She says she'll make more in the long run, so she feels like I will benefit more in the long run the longer we stay. She wants to feel treated well while she's in her career early stages. I keep asking if we can get a therapist to have outside perspective, but she always says no to a therapist. I don't hold that against her because I know it's hard saying yes to a stranger, and I've heard it's not easy to get a therapist involved for some couples until an ultimatum is thrown. Also, she did bring up I do too much for retirement and says she will have a hefty inheritance while maxing her retirement, so it will not be an issue, and wants to have something for now and not the future. I do agree with this part. I do max my retirement and try to save up enough for maybe a bit too much, which I said I will try to address. All in all, it may be an irrational fear, but it is something I have. I just need a little more time or assurance, I guess. which stems from us keep breaking up and getting back together. This marriage is 100% DOA. Step back from the engagement until these fundamental differences about money is resolved. If you don't, you risk beginning your marriage with a significant fault line in place. You have offered a very generous compromise, but she is still resentful. Is this really who you want to be married to? Which stems from us keep breaking up and getting back together. I don't think you guys are ready married. You don't trust her and you're not wrong for that, but how can you marry someone you don't even trust? Do you think it will go well? You'd be dumb to put her on the properties. Does she plan on matching the amount of money you've put in? What's she bringing to the table? Is there a bank account with $500,000 in it that she's making you an authorized user on? Will she put her hefty inheritance in a joint account? She's a doctor that doesn't trust therapists. She doesn't trust anyone else's voice but her own. You also have very different financial mindsets. I think that's enough of a reason to back out of this marriage. Ada. What if the inheritance doesn't materialize? The parent ends up sick or marries some young thing and leaves everything to them? Banking your entire future on an inheritance is a bad idea. The fact that you're making this many excuses and not seeing the red flags is alarming. You absolutely need to protect yourself. People don't go into marriage planning for divorce, but it is a very real thing that happens. Why is she so against protecting the both of your finances? And why are you okay with moving forward without that protection?